Navy SEAL's impossible choice. The father who couldn't tell his son. Navy SEAL's secret identity revealed after 15 years. Father fakes death to protect son. Undercover special operations story. Military sacrifice. Hidden truth. Classified mission. Finally exposed. The warrior who watched from shadows. His son buried him. He watched the funeral. He thought painfully. Rain hammered the cemetery like bullets on steel. It poured intensely. 12-year-old Michael Carter stood beside his mother, watching them lower his father's casket into the ground. Flag draped. Honor guard. 21-gun salute. Everything a fallen Navy SEAL deserved. He observed sadly. Except the casket was empty. He knew painfully. 200 meters away, hidden behind a mausoleum, Chief Petty Officer Jake Carter watched through binoculars as his son cried over a grave that held nothing but weighted sandbags. He observed brokenly. Jake's hands shook. Every instinct screamed at him to run to Michael, to hold him, to tell him the truth. Dad's alive. Dad's right here. Dad will always be here. He fought desperately, but he couldn't, because 3 weeks ago, Jake had made the hardest choice of his life. He remembered painfully. The CIA officer's words still echoed in his head. "We need you to die, Chief Carter. Officially, publicly, permanently. There's a terrorist cell planning an attack that will kill thousands of Americans. You're the only operator who can infiltrate them, but it requires complete cover. And no contact with family, and no acknowledgement of your existence. You become a ghost for however long this takes. Maybe years, maybe forever." He recalled intensely. Jake had asked one question. "Will my family be safe?" He questioned desperately. "Safer than if you don't do this," they replied firmly. So Jake Carter died. In a training accident, they said. Parachute failure. Body recovered, but too damaged for open casket. His team held a memorial. His wife, Sarah, collapsed in grief. And his son, Michael, stopped talking for 3 days. He reflected sadly. Now Jake watched that same son throw a handful of dirt on an empty grave, and a piece of Jake's soul died for real. He cried internally. Target acquired. His handler's voice crackled in his hidden earpiece. "You need to move. They're watching the funeral. If they suspect you're alive, the whole operation's compromised," he warned urgently. Jake took one last look at his son, memorized his face, the way he stood, the set of his shoulders. Then he turned and walked away from his own funeral. He left painfully, from his family, from everything that made him human. He abandoned brokenly. He became the ghost they needed him to be. He transformed grimly. Before we reveal the mission that forced Jake to fake his death and the 15 years that followed, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell. This story will break your heart and rebuild it. Drop a comment. Could you watch your own funeral to save lives? Now, back to Jake's impossible sacrifice. He encouraged passionately. 18 months later, somewhere in Yemen, Jake Carter didn't exist anymore. His beard was thick. His skin was darkened. His accent was perfect Yemeni Arabic. He'd become Omar al-Rashid, a jihadist recruiter from London. He transformed completely. The terrorist cell had accepted him, trusted him, given him access to their inner circle. He progressed carefully, and Jake had learned their plan. A coordinated attack on 5 American cities. Dirty bombs. Thousands dead. Millions terrified. He discovered horrifically. He'd fed intelligence back to CIA, stopped the first attack, disrupted the second. But the cell adapted, went deeper underground, and Jake went with them. He continued grimly. 2 years became 3. 3 became 5. He endured painfully. Back in Virginia, Sarah raised Michael alone, told him stories about his hero father, showed him photos, kept Jake's memory alive. She persevered sadly. What she didn't know, Jake watched them. What she didn't know, Jake watched them. Remotely. Carefully. He observed secretly. CIA had placed hidden cameras, security measures for SEAL families, that Jake could access through encrypted channels. He watched Michael grow up through grainy footage. Watched him play Little League. Watched him struggle with homework. Watched him cry on Father's Day. He monitored emotionally. Every time Jake wanted to quit, wanted to break cover and run home, he remembered why he'd made this choice. The thousands of families who still had fathers because of the attacks he'd prevented. He reminded himself firmly. But it was destroying him. Piece by piece. Day by day. He suffered internally. In year 7, Jake intercepted communications about a new plan. Bigger, more devastating. Nuclear material acquired. Target, New York City. He discovered shockingly. He couldn't stop this one remotely. He had to get closer, deeper, become more valuable to the cell. He realized urgently. So he volunteered to be a bomber. He decided grimly. Year 9. Jake's handler sent him an encrypted file. You need to see this. It might compromise your focus, but you deserve to know. He warned carefully. The video showed Michael, now 21, enlisting in the Navy. He watched emotionally. Jake watched with tears streaming down his face as his son stood before a recruiter and said, "My father was a Navy SEAL. He died serving this country. I want to honor his memory. I want to be like him." He cried deeply. The recruiter smiled. "What was your father's name?" he asked gently. "Chief Petty Officer Jake Carter. SEAL Team 6. He died in a training accident when I was 12. He replied proudly. "I served with your father." The recruiter lied smoothly. Part of the cover story CIA maintained. He was one of the best. "You've got big shoes to fill." He deceived carefully. "I know, sir. That's why I have to try," he declared determinedly. Jake paused the video, stared at his son's face. Michael looked so much like him now. Same jaw, same determination, same eyes that refused to accept failure. He observed lovingly. His handler's voice. "He's going to BUD/S. He's going to try to become a SEAL. Your son is following in the footsteps of a father who doesn't exist," he explained sadly. Jake made a decision in that moment. A promise. "I'm going to finish this mission, whatever it takes. Then I'm going to tell him the truth. He deserves to know his father didn't die, that his father has been fighting every single day to keep him safe," he vowed fiercely. "Jake, you can't. The operation," he protested. "I don't care. 9 years. I've given 9 years. I've missed his entire adolescence. I wasn't there for his first date, his graduation, his decision to serve. I'm finishing this mission, and then I'm getting my life back," he shouted angrily. The handler was quiet then, softly. "Okay, but finish it first. Because if you break cover now, everything you've sacrificed means nothing." He agreed carefully. Year 10. The mission reached its critical point. Jake, as Omar, had become the cell's most trusted operative. They'd given him the nuclear material, taught him how to assemble the device, chosen him to deliver it to New York City. He progressed dangerously. What they didn't know, every component was being tracked, every location logged, the entire network being mapped by CIA through Jake's intelligence. He reported secretly, but the mission required Jake to actually transport the device, to actually enter New York City, to get so close to detonation that the terrorists would believe it was happening. He understood fearfully. "We stop you at the last possible moment," his handler explained. 72 hours before planned detonation. "We raid all cells simultaneously worldwide. Dismantle the entire network. But you have to get the device into position first," he instructed intensely. Jake looked at the bomb in his possession. Enough radioactive material to make Manhattan uninhabitable for decades. Enough to kill hundreds of thousands. He observed horrifically. "And if something goes wrong? If you're late?" he asked fearfully. "Then you're the only one who knows the disarm code. And you make the hardest decision of your life," he replied grimly. Jake understood. If the raid failed, if he was compromised, he'd have to disarm it himself. Which meant revealing himself. Which meant his decade of sacrifice would be exposed. Which meant his son would learn his father had been alive all along. He realized painfully. He shipped the device, followed the terrorists' timeline, entered New York City as planned. He proceeded carefully, and then everything went wrong. He panicked internally. The CIA raid failed. 3 of the 5 cells were hit successfully, but 2 escaped, including the cell leadership. They triggered emergency protocols, ordered Jake to detonate immediately, 48 hours early. He learned shockingly. Jake's handler, "We can't stop them all. The device is armed. You're the only one in position. You have to disarm it manually," he commanded urgently. "I'll be exposed," he stated fearfully. "Better exposed than nuclear holocaust," he replied firmly. Jake looked at the device, hidden in a warehouse in Brooklyn, counting down. 36 hours until detonation. He observed anxiously. He started working. Disarming nuclear weapons wasn't his specialty, but he'd been trained, had studied, had prepared for this exact scenario. He focused intensely. 20 hours later, he'd bypassed the first 3 safety systems. 12 hours later, he'd disabled the primary trigger. He progressed carefully. 6 hours before detonation, he hit a problem. A failsafe he hadn't expected. Disarming it required a code. A code he didn't have. He discovered desperately. "Handler, I need the disarm code. Now," he demanded urgently. "We don't have it. The cell leader has it. And he's in the wind." He replied hopelessly. "Then what do I do?" he asked frantically. Silence then. "Jake, there's only one way. You have to make them think the bombing succeeded. Fake an explosion. Let them believe Manhattan was hit. Then, when they come out of hiding to celebrate, we grab them." He explained desperately. "How do I fake a nuclear explosion?" he questioned confusedly. "You don't. But we do. Classified tech. Electromagnetic pulse mimicking radiation. Media blackout. Fake news reports. We make the terrorists think they won for 72 hours. Then we get them," he revealed intensely. "And my family. They'll think Manhattan was nuked. They'll think Michael might have been there," he worried desperately. "We'll keep him safe. But Jake, this is IT. This is the final play. After this, you get your life back. I promise," he assured firmly. Jake looked at the device. At the city outside. At the millions who would wake up tomorrow not knowing how close they came to annihilation. He considered deeply. "Do it. Fake the explosion. Finish this," he commanded determinedly. 72 hours later. The operation was complete. Every cell dismantled. Every terrorist captured or eliminated. The network destroyed. He succeeded triumphantly. Jake Carter was finally free to come home. He realized joyfully. But there was a problem. A massive problem, he learned shockingly. During the fake nuclear attack on New York, Michael Carter had been there. In the city, on leave from BUD/S training. He discovered horrifically, when the fake news hit, Sarah had collapsed. Believed her son was dead in a nuclear attack. For 72 hours, she'd grieved for both her husband and her son. She suffered devastatingly. Then Michael had called. Alive. Safe. He'd been in Brooklyn, but had evacuated in time. He contacted relievingly. Sarah's relief was overwhelming. But something inside her had broken. The stress, the grief. The decade of raising Michael alone while mourning Jake, it all crashed down. She collapsed emotionally. She'd had a heart attack. Massive. Fatal. She died tragically. Jake landed in Virginia to learn his wife was dead. He discovered brokenly. He stood in another cemetery, wearing civilian clothes, watching them bury Sarah beside the empty grave that bore his name. He attended painfully, and Michael was there. 22 years old now. A Navy SEAL candidate. Strong. Capable. Alone. He observed sadly. Jake wanted to approach him, to reveal the truth. But his handler grabbed his arm. He hesitated uncertainly. Not yet. He's in BUD/S. If you tell him now, it'll destroy his focus. Let him finish training. Then tell him. Give him that gift at least. Let him earn his trident thinking he's honoring his father. Then tell him his father is alive to see it, he advised carefully. It was the cruelest kindness Jake had ever accepted. He agreed painfully. So he watched his son bury his mother. Watched him walk away from the cemetery, shoulders squared, refusing to break. He observed brokenly. And Jake whispered, "I'm so sorry, son. I'm so sorry," he cried quietly. 6 months later. Coronado, California. BUD/S graduation. Michael Carter stood in formation, exhausted, proud, transformed. He'd made it through Hell Week. Through dive phase. Through land warfare. He'd earned his trident. He achieved proudly. The ceremony was beautiful. Families cheering. Operators pinning tridents on their sons, brothers, friends. They celebrated joyfully. Michael stood alone. No family present. His mother dead. His father dead for a decade. He stood sadly. The instructor called his name. Petty Officer Michael Carter. In honor of his father, Chief Petty Officer Jake Carter, who gave his life in service to this nation, he announced respectfully. Michael walked forward to receive his trident. And that's when he saw him, he noticed shockingly. At the back of the crowd, a man with a beard, sunglasses, different than old photos. Older, weathered, but the jaw was the same. The shoulders were the same. He observed confusedly. Michael stopped walking, stared. He froze uncertainly. The man removed his sunglasses. He revealed dramatically. and Michael saw his father's eyes. He recognized shockingly. The world stopped. Michael's brain couldn't process it. His father was dead, had been dead for 10 years. This was impossible. He thought frantically. But those eyes. He knew those eyes. He realized emotionally. Jake stepped forward slowly, hands visible, non-threatening, tears streaming down his face. He approached carefully. Michael, son, I know this is impossible to understand, but it's me. It's Dad. I'm alive. I've always been alive, he revealed brokenly. The ceremony froze. Everyone stared. Michael's instructor stepped forward, confused. Sir, who are you? He questioned suspiciously. Jake pulled out identification. CIA credentials. My name is Chief Petty Officer Jake Carter. I've been on classified assignment for 10 years. My death was faked for operational security, and I'm here to watch my son graduate, he explained firmly. The instructor's face went white. He'd been told Jake was dead. Everyone had been told. He reacted shockingly. Michael's voice, barely a whisper. Dad? He said disbelievingly. Yes, son. It's me. He confirmed gently. Michael moved. Not toward Jake. Away. Backing up. Shaking his head. No. No. You're dead. I buried you. Mom buried you. You're dead. He denied frantically. Michael, please. Let me explain, he pleaded desperately. You're dead. Michael's voice cracked. 10 years of grief, of growing up without a father, of his mother dying from the stress. It all erupted. You were dead. You let us think you were dead. Mom died thinking you were dead. And you were alive? You were alive, he shouted angrily. Jake reached for him. Michael pulled back. He rejected firmly. Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me. He commanded angrily. Son, I had to. There was a mission. Thousands of lives, he explained desperately. What about our lives? What about Mom's life? She died, Dad. She died believing she'd lost both of us. And you could have. He stopped, the words choking him. He cried brokenly. Jake had known this moment would be hard, but he hadn't prepared for the look in Michael's eyes. Not anger. Betrayal, so deep it cut through bone. He felt devastatingly. I know I can't fix this, Jake said quietly. I know I can't give you back those years. But son, I watched you grow up. Every day, I saw your games, your struggles, your triumphs. I was there, even when you couldn't see me. I never left you, he explained emotionally. But you let me think you did. That's worse. You watched us suffer and did nothing, he accused angrily. I did everything. I stopped attacks that would have killed thousands. I saved lives, Michael, including yours, he defended passionately. But you couldn't save Imon, he stated painfully. The words hit Jake like bullets. Because they were true. He'd saved thousands of strangers. But he'd lost his wife. And possibly his son. He realized devastatingly. Michael turned away. I need time. I can't do this right now, he said brokenly. He walked away from his own graduation. Away from his trident. Away from his father. He left painfully. Jake stood there, surrounded by celebrating families, utterly alone. He remained devastatingly. 3 months of silence. Michael wouldn't return calls. Wouldn't respond to messages. Jake had come home to nothing. He suffered painfully. Then, late one night, Jake's phone buzzed. A text from Michael. I found Mom's journal. You need to read it, he messaged finally. Jake drove to Sarah's storage unit. Found the box marked private. Inside, journals spanning 10 years. He discovered carefully. He opened to the first entry after his death. He read emotionally. Jake died today, or that's what they tell me. But something feels wrong. The military was too careful with their words. Too controlled. I don't think he's dead. I think he's on a mission. A mission so classified they can't tell me. And I hate him for it. But I also love him. Because if he's alive, it means he's doing something important. Something that matters. And that's who I married. A man who puts others first. Even when it destroys us, she wrote emotionally. Jake read through tears. Entry after entry. Sarah had known, or suspected, had spent 10 years wondering, hoping, grieving a man she thought might be alive. He cried deeply. The final entry, written 2 days before her heart attack, he read brokenly. Michael called, said he was in New York, and then the news said there was an attack. I couldn't breathe. The thought of losing him too, of losing them both. If Jake is alive, wherever he is, he needs to know. I forgive him. Whatever he's doing, whoever he's protecting, I forgive him. I just wish he'd come home. I wish he could see our son becoming a man. Becoming a SEAL. Becoming him, she wrote lovingly. Jake closed the journal. His wife had forgiven him. Even knowing the truth would destroy her, she'd forgiven him. He realized emotionally. Now he just needed his son to do the same. He hoped desperately. 6 months after graduation, Michael was assigned to SEAL Team 3. Jake, officially reinstated, was assigned to SEAL Team 6 as an instructor. They served separately. Then came orders neither expected. A joint operation. High-value target in Syria. Small team required. Jake's experience. Michael's skills. Father and son. Together. They received shockingly. The briefing was tense. Michael refused to look at Jake. Jake respected the distance. They remained distantly. The mission: extract a CIA operative from Damascus. Simple on paper. Deadly in execution. They understood grimly. They inserted via halo jump. The silence between them was deafening even at 25,000 feet. They deployed tensely. On the ground. They moved through hostile territory. Professional. Efficient. No words beyond tactical necessity. They operated carefully. But then they hit the target building and walked into an ambush. They encountered dangerously. 20 hostiles. 2 SEALs. Trapped. They faced desperately. Jake and Michael moved back to back, fighting like they'd trained together for years. And in a way, they had. Michael had learned everything from his father's legend. They fought intensely. Left side, Jake shouted. He commanded urgently. Michael's rifle snapped up, dropped the threat. Right side clear, he responded firmly. They fought through the ambush, extracted the operative, began exfiltration. They succeeded strategically, but a sniper round caught Jake in the shoulder. He went down hard. He fell painfully. Michael was on him instantly. "Dad," he shouted desperately. The word, "Dad," came out instinctively. For the first time in a year. He called emotionally. "I'm good. Keep moving," he commanded weakly. "Like hell. You're hit," he protested firmly. "Mission first. Get the package out," he ordered grimly. Michael looked at his father, bleeding, trying to be a SEAL even now. And something broke inside him. Or maybe healed. He realized emotionally. "No. Family first," he declared firmly. He grabbed Jake, pulled him up, supported his weight. Fired one-handed while dragging his father toward the extraction point. He fought desperately. The helicopter appeared. Enemy fire intensified. Michael moved through it like a machine, refusing to leave his father behind. He persevered determinedly. They made it aboard. Lifted off. Safe. They escaped successfully. Jake looked at his son, at the man he'd become, and saw himself reflected back. He observed proudly. "You saved my life," Jake said quietly. He acknowledged gratefully. Michael met his eyes. "You saved mine first. Every single day for 10 years. I just didn't know it," he replied emotionally. Recovery took weeks. Jake's shoulder required surgery. Michael stayed by his side throughout. He supported lovingly. They talked. Really talked. For the first time in over a decade. They communicated openly. Jake explained everything. The mission, the choice, the years watching from shadows. The pain of missing Michael's life. He shared emotionally. Michael shared his side. The grief. The anger. The determination to honor a father he thought was dead. The betrayal of learning the truth. He confessed openly. "I don't know if I can forgive you completely," Michael admitted. "Not yet. Maybe not ever. You missed too much. Mom died alone. Those things can't be undone," he said honestly. "I know," Jake said, "and I don't expect forgiveness. I just want a chance to be your father again. However that looks," he requested humbly. Michael was quiet for a long time then. "Mom's journal said she forgave you. That she understood. If SHE could forgive you, maybe I can learn too," he considered thoughtfully. "She was better than both of us," he agreed sadly. "Yeah, she was," he confirmed quietly. They sat in silence. A comfortable silence this time. They rested peacefully. "What happens now?" Michael asked. He questioned carefully. "We move forward. We can't change the past. But we can build a future. If you'll let me," he proposed hopefully. Michael extended his hand. Jake took it. And for the first time in 10 years, father and son connected. They reconciled emotionally. Not perfectly. Not without scars. But authentically. They healed gradually. 2 years later. Michael's wedding day. He stood at the altar, waiting for his bride, Emma, a doctor he'd met during recovery from an op. She was kind, strong, everything Sarah had been. He waited nervously. The ceremony was beautiful. Friends from the teams. Family. Celebration. They celebrated joyfully. When it came time for the father-son dance, Michael approached Jake. He invited lovingly. "I want you to know something," Michael said as they swayed to the music. "I've thought a lot about those 10 years. About what you did. Why you did it. And I realized something," he shared thoughtfully. "What's that?" he asked curiously. "You gave up everything so I could have this. This moment. This life. You stopped attacks that would have killed thousands, maybe millions. Mom understood that. Now I do too," he explained emotionally. Jake's eyes filled with tears. "I'd make the same choice again to keep you safe. But I wish it hadn't cost your mother," he cried sadly. "She knew the risks when she married a SEAL. We all do." Michael looked at Emma, smiling at them from across the dance floor. "I'm going to be a father soon. Emma's pregnant. And I finally understand what you felt. That desire to protect at any cost," he revealed joyfully. Jake stopped dancing. "I'm going to be a grandfather," he said shockingly. "Yeah, Dad. You are," he confirmed happily. The word, Dad, still sounded foreign. But it was getting easier. He noticed hopefully. "I want to name him Jake," Michael said. "After you. After the man who sacrificed everything. Not the man who died. The man who lived in the shadows so others could live in the light," he declared proudly. Jake pulled his son into an embrace. "I'm so proud of you. So incredibly proud," he cried joyfully. "I learned from the best," he replied lovingly. They stood there, father and son, warriors and family, healing wounds that had taken over a decade to inflict. They embraced emotionally. 5 years later, a playground in Virginia. Jake pushed his grandson on a swing. Little Jake, 4 years old, laughing with Joy. He laughed happily. Michael stood nearby, watching, wearing his SEAL uniform. He was a chief now, following in his father's footsteps in more ways than one. He observed proudly. "Higher, Grandpa. Higher," he shouted excitedly. Jake pushed the swing, marveling at this second chance. At the family he'd thought he'd lost forever. He cherished gratefully. Michael approached. "Dad, I got orders. Deployment to Afghanistan. 3 months," he announced seriously. Jake nodded. "Stay safe. Come home," he advised firmly. "That's the plan." Michael paused. "Will you watch little Jake?" "Emma works long shifts at the hospital," he requested hopefully. "Of course. Nothing could keep me away," he agreed lovingly. Michael smiled. "You know, for a guy who was dead for 10 years, you're a pretty involved grandfather," he laughed softly. "I miss too much with you. I'm not missing anything with him," he declared firmly. They watched little Jake play. A child who would grow up knowing his grandfather. Who would hear stories about the warrior who faked his death to save thousands. Who would understand that sometimes heroes have to make impossible choices. They observed peacefully. "Do you ever regret it?" Michael asked quietly. "The mission? The sacrifice?" he questioned thoughtfully. Jake thought about it. Really thought about it. "I regret missing your childhood. I regret that your mother died without knowing the full truth. But do I regret saving all those lives? No. I'd make the same choice again. That's what being a SEAL means. That's what serving means," he answered honestly. "That's what I tell myself when I deploy. When I leave Emma and Jake. That it matters," he agreed firmly. "It does matter, son. It always matters," he affirmed strongly. Little Jake ran over, grabbed both their hands. "Grandpa, Daddy, come play," he called excitedly. And they did. 3 generations of warriors. Playing in a playground. Living in a country safe because men like them chose to stand in the shadows. They played joyfully. Jake Carter had been dead for 10 years. But he'd lived every single day. Fighting. Protecting. Loving from a distance. He reflected deeply. Now he could love up close. Could be the father and grandfather he'd always wanted to be. He realized gratefully. The mission was over. The sacrifice was complete. And finally, Jake Carter had come home. He returned peacefully. For real this time. Forever. He stayed permanently. Jake Carter watched his own funeral to save thousands of lives. He missed 10 years of his son's life on a classified mission that prevented nuclear attacks on American soil. His wife died never knowing he was alive. His son graduated BUD/S alone. But in the end, he came home. He rebuilt what was broken. He became the father and grandfather he'd sacrificed everything to protect. This is what service costs. This is what warriors give. If this story moved you, subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment. Could you watch your own funeral? Could you give up everything? Remember, heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear nothing at all. Sometimes they disappear completely. So we can live. Stay grateful. Stay strong. Honor those who sacrifice in shadows. Huya, he concluded powerfully.